Welcome back to the 25 Days of Flows, the Power Automate Advent Calendar. Today we have arrived at December 17th, so there has been 7 days that passed since we first started our 25 Days of Flows. Well beyond the halfway mark, and we're enjoying it. Now, speaking of time, today's flow will help us to manage time in our flows. We're going to create a simple button very quickly that will remind me to do this in X days. Together, we're actually going to do 2 flows, but that's the one that you're going to be able to download of the 2 in the app once that's released. All right, so we're going to dig into a couple of actions that are really relevant in managing time in flows. We have delay and delay until. Our goal is to create a solution that will remind me to do X, something, in this many Y. So whether that be minutes, days, whatever, okay? Now we are going to talk a little bit about the difference between delay and delay until and the 3 icons you see on the screen because we actually have 3 different icons. All right, so delay, think about a stopwatch, right? How long would you sit your finger on a stopwatch waiting for it to run? Probably not more than a day. But delay until, think about that as being specific to a date. So maybe it's not going to end today. It can end days after now. So basically the biggest difference I see between the two is that delay has more of a minutes or less than a day kind of a scope, whereas the delay until is specific to a particular date. And then in the template gallery, you're going to see the hourglass that kind of represents either, from what I can tell. But just be aware of these 3 different icons. They all have to do with delay. Okay, so let's give it a shot. We're going to go over to Flow and get ready to check out the templates first. So up here at my templates, I've got everybody used to searching first. You can go ahead and type the word delay, and it will show you the 2 templates that are specific to delay. The first one very close to what we're going to do today, if not almost identical. And then the second one, a little bit more specific to sending a custom reminder to somebody or a notification. Because in fact, in this flow, we're going to do something very simple for the sake of time, but think more broadly about it. When do you need to slow things down? I remember back in SharePoint Designer days, I would use an action called pause until. And this would enable me to kind of slow things down when it came to even uploading files, because a 10 megabyte file could take some time to upload. And so I didn't want to change any properties on it or attempt to before it was completely uploaded. Now, of course, SharePoint is faster than it was back then, but I still have times when I want to slow things down. And so delay is very helpful. Also, there are many times that I want to set deadlines, right? So I want to calculate X amount of time after something is happening in my flow. And at that end of time, I might want to let people know your time is approaching an end, right? Maybe it's getting closer to a deadline, or maybe I want to send a reminder that they have passed the deadline. So, or maybe I want to update something at a particular interval, right? Maybe I want to create a log that says every 5 days log X, right? For any number of reasons, I might want to do that. But perhaps there's maintenance to be done every 5 days on something that's being built. Or maybe there is a patch that needs to be patched on an on-premise server in X amount of time. So delay has many, many opportunities with it. And so be willing to explore those opportunities after you understand these 2 actions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start with a blank flow, and we're going to look for the button trigger. So we just want to use a simple trigger. And then we're going to actually give this a name, delay in minutes. And then on here, we're going to add 2 prompts. Prompt number 1 is going to be reminder text. So this is just basically asking the person, please enter the item for which you want to be reminded. That's way too long. And I would think about this longer. But you know, you want to keep these placeholder texts accurate. So I would always update it based on the default so that it aligns with what you're actually asking, because that's the hint text they're going to see. So, but keep it as concise as you can. Maybe it could just start with enter. Maybe we don't need to be so polite. Okay. And then next thing here is a number, right? Because this is number, so in number of minutes, right? Please enter the number of minutes you'd like flow to wait, okay? You'd like the flow to wait. And again, think about what you put in your hint text. Give yourself a few minutes to think about that without having the pressure of a YouTube video. Keep it as concise as possible, all right? Now, our next step is going to move right into using the delay action. And so you can see that I just type delay. This will bring up my scheduling connector, and then you'll see the 2 actions. If I click on schedule, you'll see that it has 3. It has a trigger reoccurrence. This is what we've been using for weekly, monthly, daily reporting. But the actions are very useful as well for setting up delays, whether that be short delays or longer delays. So let's start with the short delay. And then basically I want to specify the count of the unit to delay, and it's the number they typed in number of minutes. It defaults to minutes, so we're already good. And then for notifications, I'm going to, since I plan to use this on my phone, I'm going to do a mobile notification, and it's going to say, in number of minutes has passed, remember to, and then I'll put that reminder text, okay? Let's save this. We're going to do this in 1 minute, but we're going to do something else while we wait, so don't worry. So I'm going to do a test. I'm going to perform that trigger action, and the prompt that I see next is exactly what I would see on my phone, just in phone format. I'm going to say, remember to email Jane. Okay, let's email Jane in 2 minutes. All right. And then I'm going to run that flow. Now, while that flow is running, I could decide to edit this and change it completely, but that does not affect that run unless I stop it. It's important to remember that runs are not impacted by flow changes at all. You would have to cancel that run if you don't want it to run under the old configuration. All right. So I'm going to clone this flow while it's running. We're going to do a save as. And we're going to call this delay to deadline. Okay. And I'm going to save that. And basically what I'm creating is a clone of the other one that now is completely separate from the other one. And so I can make changes and handle another scenario. And that's something I will do often. Like, I never want to start from 0 usually. If I don't have to start from 0, I don't, right? So I either use a template or I might clone a flow I already have and use that. All right, so I'm going to turn this one on because I do want to use it. We turn it off when you save as so that there's no risk to those 2 flows running at the same time. But you can always say, oh, in this case, there is no risk, so I'm going to turn it back on. All right. But think about that, though. Is there a risk of those 2 flows running at the same time? This is especially important when it comes to automated flows. If you clone something and you have both of them on, they both can be running against the same record at the same time, which could cause some issues. All right, so now I'm going to make some changes here. I'm going to get rid of this delay because I'm going to look for a deadline here. And I'm going to change this to number of days. Okay, please enter the number of days before the reminder. Okay, so it's going to actually send a reminder in X number of days. All right, so then we're going to add the delay until now. Now, actually, I don't know what the date is yet, but let's go ahead and choose delay until, and you'll notice it wants a timestamp. So first, I'm going to go ahead and use our date time actions to get the date in the future. All right, so I'm going to do get future time, and I'm going to say specify the interval between the current time and the desired future time. Well, that's going to be the number of days they entered. And then the time interval is going to be days. All right, so you see that this future time is now my deadline, right? I'm saying that if I take the current time, like right now, and I add the number of days that they desire, then I now end up with a date that I can use in my delay until. And so I will put that future time there. And then here, we're just going to change this. And I think that's it, because this is still based on the trigger. Number of days. Let's make sure that that's what we have. Yep, number of days has passed. Remember to reminder text. I just saw Flow do a little magic for me just now. Did you notice that it updated our prompt? Got to give Flow credit when it's rocking, right? That was awesome. I didn't have to edit that. All right, so I'm going to do test. I'm going to test. Well, actually, we're not going to test this one. Trust me. Or try it yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one, and this is the one you'll be able to download at the end of the 25 days of Flow that you can play around with. Remember, you can put these things into a scope, right? And then you can copy and paste that scope to multiple flows. So set up your delays the way you need them. You can even set up some reoccurring, like deadline. Like if your team always has 5 days to approve something, set that deadline up into like a dummy flow, and you can copy and paste it to multiple flows. Oops, I'm tacking this on because I forgot to show you the delay in minutes. It did succeed. You can see it here. If we look at the run, just so that you can see that how the run ran, it pulled in the inputs from the user with the reminder text and the number of minutes. It went ahead and delayed 2 minutes, and then it sent the notification to, I should have written the word minutes, has passed, remember to email Jane. And so in this case, probably my prompt text was enough. 2 minutes has passed, and maybe I would just, instead of putting the text, I'd put just the prompt. So it depends on how you want to concatenate or put together the different time versus the reminder. And so I might make a change or two there, and then this would be good to go. It's one of those 5-minute flows, really easy to do, but also very important if you want to think about inserting it into another flow. You guys have an awesome holiday season. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow at the 25 Days of Flows.